Let us continue then with the actual configuration and execution of several types of backup jobs in the environment we've built here so far. Where, as you can see, I want to kind of walk through the different backup job types that exist here in Veeam, starting first with a traditional backup job here for our production VM workloads. If you recall, we have two different virtual machines here, production VMs, our File 1 machine, as well as our SQL 1 machine on which we've installed SQL Server. And we'll start first by creating a backup job to back up these virtual machines. Once we do that, we'll watch the backup actually progress and also take a look at these job reports, which give us a lot of information, a lot of detail about how well or successfully the job is actually executing, including a little line item there that gives a bit more information about which of the components that make up the job is the slowest or the bottleneck for the process to complete. Every job obviously has one of its weakest links that's preventing that job from being faster. And so this tool, if you're finding your job's not executing quickly enough, can give you a feel for if it's the network or the proxy server or anything in between that is creating that bottleneck for efficiently completing that job. Once we have then the data from that backup job on our repository server here on the primary site, we'll then go about creating that second copy of data by integrating in a backup copy job. This will copy those contents from our initial repository here in our primary site over to our disaster recovery site over in a file share on that proxy server we configured over there. Once we've done that, we'll also take a look at how we can move our backups to our scale out capacity tier there in our scale out repository. And then while we're here, I'll show you some of the other edge case type jobs that you can configure. These are VM copy and file copy jobs, as well as the bundling together of a job into a Veeam zip file. These you may not find yourself using all that often, but if you need to transfer files into other locations, sometimes these alternative options can be useful for you. Now, the last one here is a type of backup job that doesn't actually use any of the fun things that we've talked about here so far with virtual machine hard disks. I've talked already about this idea of traditional backups that are file and folder oriented. You're probably familiar with how we used to do backups here in the industry. Well, Veeam now actually provides, in addition to its traditional way of doing things, this new old way using Veeam agents. If you have physical machines where you don't actually have a virtual machine hard disk, or if you have Windows desktops you want to back up with your Veeam infrastructure where you wouldn't have that virtual hard disk, these Veeam agents are a permanently installed agent that sits on those machines that collects together all those files and folders in a traditional manner and copies them to your repository. Again, you won't find yourself using these for any of your virtual machines all that often, but in those edge cases where you do have desktops or you do have physical machines that you want to back up with the same infrastructure, these Veeam agents provide an alternative way to accomplish the task.